This E3 coverage is brought to you by Ting, mobile that makes sense.
Hey guys, Nick and Tara here for Rev3 Games, and we just wrapped with the Sony press conference.
We sure did.
Day 0 of E3. This was really exciting, I thought. They had a lot of games, a few hardware announcements. They started right off the bat with a story trailer for Destiny, which obviously looks incredibly gorgeous. They also announced, and I noticed this was sort of a trend for this press conference, a lot of exclusive beta access, exclusive alpha access. They announced for this that PS4 owners are going to have alpha access on June 12th, July 17th for the beta. And they also announced what I thought was really exciting, a white Destiny PS4 bundle.
Yeah. It's interesting. I almost hope that it's the type of thing where I can get that bundle now and then you'll get access to Destiny when it comes out, because I kind of don't want to wait for that to get a console that looks like it.
No, it takes a few months to mix together all that white paint.
Yeah, seemingly.
So that's exciting anyway. Then they showed off a trailer for The Order 1886, which is a lot scarier than I thought this was going to be.
That's not what I thought The Order was. I thought The Order was going to be a little more cerebral, a little more...
I thought it would be more like in the Thief arena and less in like the Evil Within arena.
A little more cinematic narrative, a little less running away from a dude shooting him and it doesn't seem to do anything. You know?
Yeah. I still thought it looked good though. And then they jumped from that game into Entwined, which is pretty much the exact opposite of The Order.
Yeah, a lot of tonal whiplash at this press conference.
Yeah, there really was. This is a PS4 exclusive, and it's being developed by a few students from Carnegie Mellon and San Jose State.
Yes.
The interesting thing about this is that it's available right now.
So that's a hat trick. That's 3 in a row press conferences where they said, and by the way, this is available today.
Yeah, and I guess you play as like 2 birds. You control each one with a joystick. It's They called them souls.
They're
so
star-crossed
2 souls
lovers.
in love. And they live through 9 lives, and it seems like a very unique story and gameplay.
It seems like an independent video game to me.
Yes, it does seem like that, which it is. And then they also announced Little Big Planet 3, which I think was probably one of the most exciting things for people who were in the audience.
And I kind of like how they announced it, because they just were like, here's the logo on the screen. And everyone's like, oh, I wasn't really ready for that.
It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
They also had a bunch of new characters for that. They had a little bird.
A little bird, a little fat guy. And they had also, I think, the most authentic live demo I've ever seen at E3, because those dudes were just fucking up constantly. Like, all the players were tripping, falling off things, screwing up these things. But it was actually kind of endearing in a way.
Yeah.
Like, they kept making mistakes, and I was like, oh, you're real people.
Yeah, it was adorable. And then, again, they jumped from Happy Game into Bloodborne.
Yeah. If your kids were watching the Little Big Planet 3 thing, I hope they covered up your eyes for the Project Beast part, because it got really gnarly really fast.
That creepy-ass dog, man. That thing is going to haunt my dreams tonight. So that's from Software.
It's from.
We really don't know anything else about the game other than that there's a creepy-ass dog in it.
Yeah, and that if you want to watch some WebMs of it, you can go to the NeoGAF thread,
but
we want more gameplay on that still.
Speaking of gameplay, we finally got some Far Cry 4 gameplay. This was freaking amazing. This is what I was waiting for. I was not expecting them to be showing this off during the Sony press conference, so I was really surprised. First of all, co-op.
Yeah.
This is a new thing for Far Cry.
Definitely. And it's something that felt lacking from Far Cry 3, I felt, was playing it with friends.
Yeah, because it is a very open world game, and you feel like you should be able to shoot animals.
Right. Why is the passenger seat of the car even there if a friend can't get in it?
And speaking of that, the scene where first of all, you can shoot through your car. The scene where he jumps out of his car into another car, throws the guy out of the passenger seat, and then stabs the guy in the driver's seat, and then takes off with the car, and then drives it on a cliff, and then hang glides or wingsuits out of there?
Because a rock avalanche forced him to drive it off the cliff. What's cool about that gameplay demo to me is that it seems like they really cut to the core of what I loved about Far Cry 3, which was going into these encampments and taking them over in whatever way you want, including strapping a bomb to like a exploding barrel and kicking it off. Like, that's Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, hopefully, in a nutshell for me. Like, those emergent moments are why I love that game and why I played it so much.
Also elephants. You can get elephants to attack people for you, or they might just do it on their own. I don't. It was unclear from the trailer. And so also, one of the most interesting announcements about that was that you can own the game and invite your friends to play with you, even if they don't have the game.
I would have loved some more specificity from Adam on what exactly that means, because he just kind of came out there and was like, and your friends can play with you, and everyone cheered, but they never, I don't think, got into super clear detail on the exact rules on how that's going to work. It almost sounds like back when the Xbox One was completely locked down, how that was going to work, where you could let your friends have a rental period, but no specifics on that yet. I have a lot of questions, but I'm tentatively excited about friendly co-op for free.
And so they went in from that to Dead Island 2, which is this really strange trailer that it wasn't clear what it was until we actually saw the title screen. It's just Dead Island set in California. This one's being developed by Jaeger Studios, not Techland, which are the people who did Spec Ops The Line. which was a pretty well-received game.
Yeah, in a kind of interesting like narrative game, and I'm kind of curious how that fits with the Dead Island like milieu. I don't really put those together in my head, but at least it's not like another Riptide. Like at least maybe there's a chance it'll have something interesting going on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But that's another one of the games that has exclusive beta access for PS4. So there's that. Abzû, another really interesting looking game from the people who made Journey, Giant Squid Studios.
A bunch of former That Game Company type folks sort of started this own studio. We've been wondering what they've been working on for a while, and I guess now we know. Yeah,
it's a beautiful underwater game. Austin Wintory, the guy who did the score for Journey, is also doing the score for this one. It sounds incredible. It looks incredible.
Yeah, couldn't really tell if it was a 2D or a 3D game from what we saw. It's like there are a lot of side-scrolling stuff, and then a lot of depth, and I was like, oh, I want to see the playing part, which is what it comes down to so often when I see E3 trailers.
Yeah, I do want to see more of that game. And also No Man's Sky.
God, speaking of things I want to see more of.
Incredible looking game. This is, I think, probably one of the prettiest games that they showed off during this press conference.
The colors, like,
oh my God, the colors are fascinating. The fact that you can go from the surface of one planet out into space to the surface of another planet seamlessly with no loading screens is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think my favorite takeaway from that was that they came out and said every player starts on their own planet that you discover, and maybe you name it, I wasn't really clear on that, but just that idea of a truly procedural universe is...
Right.
I still want to know what the moment-to-moment gameplay is like, and I'm actually checking it out at E3 this week, so I'm excited to hear from them directly, but I have a lot of questions, but holy cow, that's the prettiest game I've seen at E3 so far.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I might have to crash your appointment during E3 to see that. And then going in the complete opposite direction again, Mortal Kombat X. You like Mortal Kombat, right?
I do. I liked MK9 a lot. I thought it was like a fun, very approachable, very silly version of a fighting game.
Did this trailer have enough blood for you?
I'm going to say yes. I think what's interesting, though, is that the X-ray system that we all know from MK9, where it would zoom in and show you bones cracking, they seem to have expanded that into now it's like bones and also your muscular system and just all your gully works. They've got separate cutaways for every single part of the inside of the human body.
It's like a full cross section.
Yep,
basically.
the whole it's like a medical student class or something.
Yeah,
gross, but that's what you want, I guess.
A lot of blood actually in multiple games in this press conference.
Yeah.
And then they also showed Metal Gear Solid 5: Phantom Pain, another trailer that was directed and edited by Hideo Kojima.
Which we all know because he insisted that be watermarked in the corner of the screen. Apparently.
I feel like after watching that trailer, I have played that game and I still have no idea what the fuck is going on in any of it.
Yeah, but as someone who loves Metal Gear, there were a few little fan throwaway nitpicks in there that were like exciting to me. Like they're building something that I think our friend Kenny speculated is Outer Heaven, because it's sort of a prequel-y type thing that looked so much like the Big Shell from MGS2, which doesn't excite people who don't care about MGS2, but as the one person who loved MGS2, I'm like, all right, maybe
I know many people actually.
This will be the game that ropes me back into Metal Gear, possibly. We'll see.
And then the last big announcement of the night they had was Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. We got like maybe a 30-second teaser trailer for that.
Yeah, kind of hope for more. After a year ago, when all we got was the Uncharted logo, I thought we'd upgrade from teaser to trailer, but instead we just got a longer teaser.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little smidge of gameplay, maybe, but
well, all we know is that Drake's back.
Yeah, kind of would have liked a new protagonist, but I also love Nathan Drake, so it's
there you go.
Can't win.
And that was not the only thing that Naughty Dog showed off. They also announced The Last of Us Remastered, which is going to be coming to PS4 on July 29th. That is exciting. That was not the only remastered thing that got announced either. Grim Fandango. I think that was a surprise to almost everyone.
Total curveball. I was not sure what Tim Schafer's face was doing on their stage until they made it abundantly clear. Another shocker, but it's kind of cool that they're able to use their relationship with Disney, I guess, to do these backroom dealings for games that even Tim doesn't have the rights for anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of tricky. Like I love seeing people go out of their way to make things possible, like the Harmonix Kickstarter. You know, it's like they just want to make the games available and let them exist.
Exactly.
So it's good to see.
And that is going to be a PS4 Vita exclusive. So if you like Grim Fandango, throw that Xbox One out the window. Just kidding.
That's this one. And then GTA 5, right?
GTA 5!
Which I didn't recognize at first. It looked really, really pretty, and for the first 30 seconds of that trailer, honestly, I was like, what are we looking at here? I didn't get the hints.
I'm kind of expecting it to be DLC for the game, but it wasn't. It's just a remastered version. What's really cool about that, though, is that they said that people who played on 360 can transfer their saves to the PS4 version.
So both last-gen players can transfer it over, which is a really neat idea.
Yeah, also kind of a huge fuck you to Microsoft.
Yeah, it felt, something about that felt like dirty in a weird way. I'm just like, oh, I can? You're gonna let me do that?
It was like you won't need that 360 anymore.
From what he said, it sounds like you can only bring your GTA Online save with you. And as someone who didn't finish GTA 5 all the way through, I would love to bring my campaign progress.
Yeah.
But overall, I love the idea of playing GTA 5 at a frame rate that isn't really, really gross and horrible. So that's why this excites me.
There you go.
That's a nice idea.
So they did make a few small hardware announcements. They talked a little bit about PlayStation Now. They said that's going to be available on PS4 on July 31st, and then it'll come to PS3 after. They also said it's coming to select Sony televisions without PS4. So if you don't own a PS4, you will be able to play PlayStation games on your Sony television, which is actually really cool.
I do like the idea that people with Sony TVs, however many of them there are, can just buy a DualShock and play it. What I was hoping they were going to say when they said non-PlayStation devices was iPhone and iPad, because I think that's inevitably where this goes. I think they've kind of hinted at that in the past, that you'll be able to play PlayStation games on your other non-Sony devices, but baby steps, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if those are quite powerful enough yet for a lot of those games, but we'll see. I don't know. They also announced PlayStation TV, which I guess is kind of like the Sony answer to Apple TV. Yeah,
it's something that they've sort of shown before, but we got a lot more details about it. I think it's a neat idea. I think the idea of playing Vita games on a TV is still a little hard to wrap my head around. But I don't know. At that price point, it doesn't have to do very much to justify its existence. At $99, it's like, all right, whatever.
Exactly. And then they talked for a second about Project Morpheus. They said it was going to be playable on the show floor. So we may actually get to go check that out.
There was one game that they had on the Project Morpheus slide that was called like Urban Luge or Street Luge or something.
Street Luge, yeah.
That sounds like my shit. I want to luge down the street.
Luge games are fun. Like it's one of the few sports I enjoy, I think, if you can call that a sport.
I have never luged because I don't want to die, but I do want to luge in a video game. So
there you go.
That's my plan for this
Sony
week.
has the answer for you.
Great.
So that is the Sony press conference in a nutshell. We are also going to have a cut down of this, which should be available sometime today or tomorrow. So feel free to watch that. And of course, the Nintendo press conference, or their digital press conference, is tomorrow as well. So we will be covering that. And then we have about 50 appointments all over the show floor this week. So we're going to have tons of coverage for you guys. I know we have a small team this year, but that does not mean that our coverage is going to be small. So please stay tuned.
Yeah. Hey, if you're enjoying our E3 coverage, you can support us by checking out Ting, a cell phone service provider where you only pay for what you use. 98% of people, that's a 9 followed by an 8, would save money by switching to Ting, sometimes hundreds of dollars a year. Here's what makes Ting different from your current plan. With Ting, you only ever pay for what you use, and so if you're like me and never use the actual phone part of your phone bill that month would be $0. Ting is also completely contract-free, which means no early termination fees, and Ting will even help you pay your network's early termination fees so you can make the switch over. They've even got a savings calculator to help you figure out exactly how much you'd save in just a couple of seconds. Support us by going to rev3games.ting.com and you'll get $25 in credit off your first bill or device.
It will do so first, bigger, and better than on any other platform.